Hey parents, have you noticed that winter seems to hit some families much harder than others? One child gets sick constantly, another stops sleeping well, meltdowns become bigger, and sensory overload ramps up. Energy drops, stress tolerance disappears, and often parents feel it too. You're exhausted, running on caffeine, emotionally stretched thin, trying to keep everyone afloat while the whole house feels like it's running on empty. Here's something most families never realise. Winter doesn't usually create nervous system stress, it exposes it. Because when sunlight drops, routines become more intense, sickness circulates through schools and families spend more time indoors under pressure, nervous systems that already were overloaded often begin struggling even more. And this is exactly why winter can become one of the most important times to support nervous system regulation. At House of Chiropractic, parents often ask us what's the best time to start to care for their child. And honestly, many families are surprised when we say this season right now can be one of the most valuable opportunities to begin. Because while winter can absolutely challenge the nervous system, it can also reveal where support is truly needed. Less sunlight affects more than mood. It can impact sleep cycles, emotional regulation, energy levels, and how resilient the nervous system feels day to day. Add school fatigue, busy schedules, recurring illness, emotional overwhelm, and the pressure families carry this time of year, and many nervous systems begin slipping into survival mode. And when the nervous system is stuck there, everything else can become harder too. Sleep becomes lighter and more disrupted. Digestion slows down. Emotional regulation becomes more difficult. Kids become more reactive. Parents feel burnt out. Recovery from illness can take longer. And this is where neurologically focused chiropractic care is different. At House of Chiropractic, we're not simply looking at symptoms in isolation. We're looking at how the nervous system is functioning underneath it all. Because the nervous system controls and coordinates everything: sleep, digestion, immune function, behavior, emotional regulation, healing, adaptability. And when that system becomes overwhelmed or dysregulated, the body can struggle to adapt well to everyday stress. And one of the biggest things we see during winter is families trying harder and harder to support their health while still missing the foundation underneath it. And so more school days are missed, more time off work, more supplements, appointments, medication strategies. And while many of these can help, if the nervous system is stuck in stress mode, the body often struggles to fully respond and regulate the way it should. This is one of the reasons we love our Neurological INSiGHT Scans so much, because we're not guessing. They help us objectively measure how the nervous system is functioning and adapting to stress in babies, children, teenagers, and parents. They help us identify patterns of stress, tension, exhaustion, and dysregulation that may be impacting how the body is functioning day to day. And importantly, they allow us to track progress over time, so families aren't left wondering if things are changing. We can actually measure shifts in regulation and adaptability as care progresses. One thing we do hear from parents is that they've tried chiropractic before and it didn't really help. And if that has been your experience, we genuinely want you to know it's not the end of the story. Not all chiropractic care approaches children and families the same way. Many chiropractors are fantastic at helping adults with pain and injuries, but neurologically focused care for babies and children requires a different understanding of development, stress, physiology, sensory challenges, and nervous system regulation. Another major difference is whether neurological scanning technology is being used, because adjusting based purely on symptoms is very different to adjusting based on objective nervous system data. Here at House of Chiropractic, the scans guide us. They help us understand where stress patterns are sitting and how deeply the nervous system is struggling to adapt, and how care needs to be personalised for each individual child and family. Because every nervous system has a different story. Pregnancy stress, birth experience, illness, sleep deprivation, emotional stress, medication exposure, school pressure, and environmental stresses. These layers all build up over time into what we call the perfect storm. And during winter, that storm often becomes much harder for families to carry. But this is encouraging. A stronger nervous system doesn't mean your family never gets sick or never feels stressed. It means the body often adapts, recovers, and regulates better when stress arrives, and that changes everything. We regularly see families begin noticing calmer homes, improved sleep, better stress tolerance, fewer emotional explosions, and children who simply seem more comfortable in their bodies. Not because anyone became perfect, but because their nervous systems became more adaptable, resilient, and regulated. If this feels like your family, and they're running on empty, if your child seems overwhelmed, exhausted, and constantly sick, or just simply not themselves, maybe the question isn't what else should we try? Maybe the better question is how well is the nervous system functioning underneath it all? At House of Chiropractic, we'd love to help you better understand what may really be happening beneath the surface, because winter shouldn't just be about surviving this season. It can also be about the season your family is getting, finally healing together. We'd love to look after your whole family.